Hello Archivists, and welcome back to our channel, or welcome to our channel if you're new here. We're Six-Sided Scribes. My name's Nahal.
I'm Jugal, and today we got a special 1350 point game between the Space Wolves and Dark Angels. This is a practice game for an upcoming tournament that we're planning to attend. It's called the Ark.
Yeah, for those of you that do not live in Australia, Arks a very old tournament. It's going on for about 25 years. This is actually their 25th year anniversary, as a matter of fact. So we attended it for the first time last year, and we did quite well. It was a really fun game. I mean, this tournament in and of itself, they tend to focus a lot more on fun and fluffy lists. There's a lot of focus on creativity, painting, conversion, that sort of stuff. Which is why even the missions are custom, and they work to a different points limit as well.
So do follow our socials. We'll be posting a lot from that weekend. You'll see both of our armies and some beautifully painted armies as well. And do like and subscribe if you like our content. You know, if you like what we're putting out there.
Yeah, there should be a little button down there somewhere.
And do let us know what do you think we can do better. We live to please.
So today's mission that we're going to be playing is an adaptation of a mission that we played at Ark last year. It's called King of the Hill, and we'll get into the details of it in a little bit. But
with that, let's see what both of us are choosing to bring. We're trying to be a little creative with the list, so do let us know what you think.
So today for the Dark Angels, I'm bringing a 1,345 point list, all condensed into one single Arks of Omen detachment. I know Dark Angels are pretty powerful in the meta right now, but and I've got a bit of punch in the list, but this list is meant to be a little more fluffy in that it's not completely optimized, so it's not super competitive, but it can sort of hold its own. With that in mind, I've got the focus, of course, on the Elites group, and I will be running this as a first company detachment. So basically everything in the list will have either the inner circle or the Deathwing keyword. To get into the list itself, it's being led by Azrael, who's of course my Warlord. I have not given him his Warlord trait, but I've kept him as my Warlord because he does give me those 2 CP, which will come in really handy for me. Next, I've taken a Talonmaster. He's of course the Dark Angels special land speeder lieutenant character. For today, I thought I'd try something different. I thought I'd try to get him into the thick of things. So I've given him the Heavenfall blade as a relic, and that actually pairs really well with the Warlord trait that I've given him, which is the Imperium sword. So it would turn him into a really fighty character. Besides that, I can always use the Dark Angel Stratagem so he can fight and basically just get out of combat right away. So I reckon that might come in handy today as well. Now into the meat and potatoes of the Elites. I am starting off with a Bladeguard Ancient. Now, inadvertently, I think this guy is going to be the focus of my entire army, so he's just going to be the singular character on which everything hinges. I have, of course, paid the points to upgrade him to a Chapter Ancient, so that +1 to hit is really going to help. Additionally, I have also given him the Pennant of Remembrance, which is a Dark Angel specific relic, so I can basically point at another unit and make them -1 damage. All of that coupled with the fact that if anything dies around him, on a 4-up they fight again before on death. So if any model dies, chances are they're taking someone with them. Moving on, I also have taken 2 squads of Bladeguard, 4 strong each. The idea is because I don't have any cheap troops running around doing things, I don't have any intercessors, the Bladeguard are basically just going to be my action monkeys. They're going to go out, grab some objectives, they're going to go pick off the smaller, lighter units. The Deathwing Inner Circle rule for permanent transhumans is going to really come in handy to keep them alive. Not to mention, Storm Shields are back now, so a 2-up armor with a 4-up and 1 always comes in handy. And given I'm going into another Space Marine army, 2 damage power swords come in handy as well. Now, a big brick of my entire army is my 300 point Terminator squad. 330 to be precise. I know the best way to run them is a 10 strong squad of Thunderhammer Storm Shield Terminators with 2 Cyclones. Unfortunately, I do not have those models, so I'm going to be running the WYSIWYG. So it's 5 models with Thunderhammer Storm Shield and 5 models with a Stormbolter and a Chain Fist with 2 Cyclone missiles in there as well. Next up, just thought I'd give the army some speed in case I need to get to the other side of the board, or if nothing else, just at least help keep my Talonmaster alive for a little longer. I've thrown in 5 Black Knights. Plasma guns are always good, especially with the weapons of the Dark Age. Plus, Corvus Hammers gives them a bit of punch in combat as well. And finally, for some anti-tank shenanigans, I have taken 1 Soul Redemptor Dreadnought. Of course, he's got the Macroplasma, he's got the Icarus rocket pod on his head, and he's running Stormbolters and an All-Star Gatling Cannon. Now, to keep it valid, I've had to pay an additional 10 points to give him the Inner Circle keyword. The good thing about that is in the Assault Doctrine, he rerolls all wounds into characters or models with 8 or more wounds in the fight phase, because he gets the Deathwing Super Doctrine. So that may or may not come in handy, but at least it keeps my entire list coherent. And as a result, my Deathwing Terminators now have OBSEC. All that said, I am starting my list at 4 CP, and let's see what the Wolves have brought to counter with.
So today for the Space Wolves, I'm bringing the original first founding chapter. Today I'm bringing a Arks of Omen detachment at 1350 points, give or take 12, mainly give. Leading this detachment is Logan Grimna on foot. I had the idea of bringing on Storm Rider, but I don't like the idea of getting him shot so soon. He's a chapter master, and you're quickly going to notice in this list that I'm trying to counterplay the Dark Angels with a lot of Terminator armor myself. So my second HQ is the champion of Logan Grimna, Aryak Rockfist. This, I think, is his first debut match on a Strike Force size mission, so New Mortal Syndrome. Look out for that. And then third, my third HQ is Nihal Stormcaller, again in Terminator armor. The Chief Librarian for the Space Wolves, who can know 3 and deny 2, and shares the namesake with my opponent. Moving on to troops, I have none. Moving on to elites, I'm bringing 9 Wolfguard jump packs with Lightning Claws, Storm Shields, and Dual Lightning Claws. Didn't quite have the points to take 10, so that means I can't combat squad this game. Next in my elite slots are 2 squads of aggressors, one with Bolt Storm Gauntlets and the other with Flame Storm Gauntlets. Now these are some of my earliest painted models and haven't seen the tabletop since the 8th edition, so you will notice the difference in painting style. I'm hoping their additional toughness and their weapons will be a bit of an advantage in this game. Next in my elites is a 5-man squad of Terminators. Now these are the only Terminators I've ever owned and ever painted, and their weapon loadouts are as mirrored as the Space Wolves come. So I'm hoping to either have them D-strike, get up in the game and just be tough and just bodyguard my other Terminator characters. Moving on, in my heavy support, I'm bringing 1 squad of Eradicators. As you can see, more Gravis and more toughness. These are some anti-tank shooting. They're going to sit back, hold an objective and just shoot from afar. And to round off my list, because I'm bringing everything that is so slow, I'm bringing a Stormfang gunship. Now he's equipped with the Hellfrost Destructor, twin last cannons, and the Stormstrike missiles, because that's how I've built him. I don't know how Fly's going to be in this edition. He's not going to start on the board because he has to come off reserves, but I'm hoping his speed as anti-tank is going to be a big hole and it's going to be a big harassment unit for my enemy. This 1350 point army is starting at 5 CP because I have no Warlord traits or relics to give around. I've made Aryak Rockfist my Warlord so I can give him his Warlord trait that is Resolve the Bear. This gives him a 6-up Feel No Pain and the rule that you cannot reroll the wound roll against him. And if he loses any wounds, this suddenly becomes an aura for a 6-up Feel No Pain. So I'm hoping that will really help this tough castle I'm flying to build. I've paid another CP to make the Sergeant of the Wolf Guard my Thane of the Retinue. So this lets him take a special issue walker, and I've made his Dual Lightning Claws into Frost Claws. And now with that, let's move on to our mission and then deployment. So today's mission is called King of the Hill. This is a custom mission from the Ark 40k tournament and is one of the custom missions that we are expecting to play this year. Now this one is from last year and is unique because it is a hammer and anvil deployment but only has one objective. So you clearly know where all the fighting is going to be taking place. Now let me take a moment to explain to you our terrain and show you our Sentinel Square. So as you can see, guarded by the 2 Sentinels of the Imperium is the one objective. The person holding that will be the King of the Hill. Now the mission primary is you get 3 victory points for 1 unit that's within 3 inches of that objective. Another 3 if you have 2 units within range of their objective. And another 3 if you don't have any enemy units within 3 inches of their objective. Now you can score another 5 victory points if you can have a unit carry an action called Planting the Flag. But this action is only completed at the end of the next command phase and if there is no enemy units within 3 inches. So it's going to be a really hard fight to put that flag down. So moving on to the rest of the terrain on the table, we have our ruins on this side. So this is light cover and obscuring, and right attached to it is a little barricade that is a defense line. So it'll give you light cover, heavy cover. Over here we have another small ruins. This is also obscuring and light cover. And we have a crater here. So this is difficult ground, so it is -2 to move and charge through. We have armored containers over here that will be considered as light cover if you're contacting it. It is scalable. Moving on to the sentinels, we have agreed that this will be dense cover. So any shot that's passing through the terrain will be subject to dense cover. On the other side, we have more armored containers. So again, light cover, scalable. Another crater. Clearly, there's been a lot of battles happening around Sentinel Square. Everyone wants this hill. More ruins. This is light cover obscuring. And to mirror the other side as well, another tall ruin, which is light cover obscuring, and a barricade that will be defense line. So light cover, heavy cover, and defensible. And now that we're done with our terrain pieces and the board, let's see what each army is bringing for the secondaries.
So for the Dark Angels, for this mission, given there's only one central objective which I need to hold anyway, it only makes sense that my secondary of choice be Stubborn Defiance. So basically I just get an OBSEC unit, in this case that's the Terminators, get them onto the objective and just plant them there and make sure they stay around for the whole game. They perform the double purpose of getting me my primary as well as Stubborn Defiance. So it's a bit of an all or nothing kind of a strategy there, but let's see how it goes. Adding more to the all or nothing, let's triple down. I've actually even taken Oaths of Moment as my secondary objective. So again, need to be in the center, need to hold it, kill things off it. So again, feeds into the primary as well. And for my third secondary, given Jukes is actually bringing 3 characters, and I really didn't have anything better than that, I figured I'd try for Assassinate and see if I can get a cheeky 10 victory points. Space Wolves, the way they play is their characters tend to lead from the front, so I'm guessing he's going to bring the fight to me. And hopefully he falls into my little trap and gives me 10 victory points as a result. That's my secondaries, that's my plan. Let's see how the Space Wolves try to counter that.
So today, for the Space Wolves secondaries, I've decided to really emphasize the center because we only have one objective there. My first secondary is going to be Assassinate because my opponent's brought 3 characters and I know he's going to be bringing the fight to me. So if he just leaves his characters out in the open, I can get angles at them and maybe take them down. My second secondary is Oaths of Moment, which is, again, I get 2 victory points for just being in the center, which is where the one objective is. I'll also get additional victory points for killing his characters, which will synergize well with my Assassinate. Essentially, it'll give me victory points for doing what I was going to do anyway. And my third secondary, since I'm a Space Wolf and how can I not take it, I will be taking Warrior's Pride. So I get 3 victory points if I successfully charge with 2 units or start the combat in engagement with 2 units. So essentially, I just get victory points for doing what I was going to do anyway. So as you can see, my entire strategy is just get in his lines and kill, and just hold one objective. And with that, let's move on to today's mission and the board.
Okay, we're here. Welcome to Sentinel Square, where the Dark Angels and Space Wolves are engaging in their own battle, just keeping their instincts sharp, testing their skills, and of course, getting out the old Lion and the Wolf battle. So, if you want to pan down, I can show you that there is the Sentinel Square that we rolled off and the Dark Angels lost, and the Space Wolves chose to be attackers, causing the Dark Angels to deploy first, but the Dark Angels chose to deploy up on this side. I've got my Black Knights on the flank there, supported by the Talonmaster, so they're basically just going to go out, do their thing, and see if they can outflank and just be a bit of a harassment. Talonmaster there, the fighty dude is just going to be hanging out behind them, backing them up if they ever get into combat. Next to them is Azrael. I've actually measured things out, so they are actually within. So the Black Knights are within Azrael 6 inches for his 4+ inbound, just in case the Space Wolves do go first and they decide to take it out on the Black Knights. Azrael is being protected by the Terminators there. He's within 3 inches, so Lucat's rule kicks in. He's being backed up by my giant Dreadnought, who is not going to take no for an answer today, and he's going to try to see if he can lob some red hot, or rather blue hot plasma straight across the board into the Space Wolves. The Terminators that I spoke of, they're basically up in there, a bit forwards, but trying to be a little more conservative as well. Trying to see if I can keep them alive for when the Storm Wolf comes in from reserves in turn 2. Those Cyclone missile launchers will really come in handy for me then. Those Terminators there are within 6 inches of my Bladeguard Ancient that's sitting in the back. In case, again, the Space Wolves go first and they manage to kill off a few Terminators, they might be able to get some Stormbolter shots off. Next to the Ancient, I have the Bladeguard Veterans. They are on the first floor of this ruin, but that's just for convenience. They are actually on the ground floor. They're basically protecting the Bladeguard Ancient there with Lookouts up. And I've got my last squad of Bladeguard Veterans out front over here, backed up just on the line behind the barricade. So again, if Space Wolves do go first, they get a bit of a cover save against that as well. So that's the Dark Angels deployment.
All right, for the Space Wolves on the other side,
Yeah.
as you can see, my wolves are well hidden. Now, I usually do not run such a slow army. It runs antithetical to everything I've written my Space Wolves to be. But hopefully this should be an interesting game. Again, just for convenience, the aggressors are actually on the ground floor, backed up by Aryak and Logan Grimna. Now, Grimna's there mainly because I can maybe give us points to anything that's around him. Moving on out here, I've got my 5-man squad of Terminators, backed up by Nihal Stormcaller. Now, the hope is I'll be able to pull off his psychic powers and get a 6-inch aura of light cover. So when I do go and plant a flag on that hill, I will still have the benefit of light cover, something my opponent shouldn't have. Now, on this little rune back here, I've given my 3-man squad of Eradicators a good viewing angle straight at the building. All they have to do is step to the left of the building and they'll have line of sight. As well as my 9-man squad of Wolf Guard with jump packs. Now, the reason I put them there is because they've got the 12-inch move, and because they've got the fly keyword, they shouldn't be interrupted by the terrain blocking them over here. If my opponent does go second, I can bring them out, maybe hide them behind the containers, stage them for a second turn combat. With that, those are the battle lines drawn. The army is ready, and let's decide who is the king of the hill, shall we? Okay. Who is going first?
Alrighty, let's use some special Ark dice because we are going to Ark this weekend. They're cool because they've got the Ark logo painted right on them. We got these at Ark last year.
Okay,
so
let's see. Who goes first?
What do you want to do, Jugs? You want to go first?
I want to go second.
Okay, so do I actually.
3,
2, yes! Dark Angels, go second.
Well, let's hope the wolves can be cunning, and we will show the lions who is the king of this hill. We'll be back after turn 1. Here we are with the end of Space Wolves turn 1 movement. Now, there's been a pretty short movement phase. It'll also been my shooting phase because I have nothing to shoot at. So everything in my army has advanced. My Wolf Guard have moved through the ruins with a 4-inch advance over here. I'm hoping that I'm just outside of any of his charges and shooting range. My Eradicators made a mighty 6-inch advance, or you end up here and have nothing to shoot at because everything is just outside of range. Again, everything is advanced over here. My aggressors both made only 2-inch advances, so they've only got that far. In the command phase, Logan Grimna did give his Chapter Master point to the Terminators, but again, not going to be of any use with a 3-inch advance. My characters have all made a 4, a 5, and a 6-inch advance, respectively, and I've just sort of come up behind my units. The hope is now that in the Psychic phase, I'm going to pull off Stormcaller with Nihal and give them all light cover, and that will just be a good castle ready to stage for the next turn. Now onto the Psychic phase for Stormcaller by Nihal Stormcaller. It needs a 6, but he gets +1 to cast on his Tempestual Discipline.
That's a fail.
That's a fail. I'm going to CP reroll that.
Okay.
For 4. Come on, give me 6. Yep, that's an 8.
7. Oh, he gets a +1, doesn't he? Okay, I can't even deny that now because it's just outside of 24 from my Terminators.
Yes. Now, for his second cast, because I have one, I'm going to go with Instinct Awaken onto the Flamestorm Gauntlet Aggressors.
Mm-hmm.
That passes on an 11, and it puts them in the Assault Doctrine.
Nice.
So my Flamestorm Gauntlets are an Assault Doctrine. And unfortunately, yes, that is the Space Wolf's turn 1. There's nothing to be done, no primaries or secondaries to be gained.
Okay,
Yeah.
Now with that, let's see what the Dark Angels respond with. We'll be back after the end of the movement phase for the Dark Angels turn 1. Cool, so here we are at the end of the Dark Angels movement phase for turn 1. A few things went on in the command phase. I'll talk you through it in a minute, but the idea is to just move on ahead, try to see if I can get onto that center objective and hopefully survive. So in the command phase, my Ancient in Terminator armor used his Pennant of Remembrance to make this squad of Bladeguard -1 damage. They are going to get charged and basically just beaten down in combat, so the -1 damage might help to keep them alive a little longer. He also used this Chapter Ancient ability to give this squad of Terminators here +1 to hit. So now they hit on 2s, hitting on 3s with their Cyclone missile launchers. That'll come in handy. Azrael, of course, gave his point over to the Black Knights, who then moved over here. So they now have full rerolls to hit. They did not advance, they just moved. May or may not come back to bite me, but let's see what happens. My Talonmaster used his No Escape ability and pointed at the aggressors there, so now they do not get any benefits of cover from Ravenwing units within 6 inches of him. So the Black Knights now ignore the cover that was afforded to them by Niall, my namesake. There we go. So the Bladeguard rolled a 1 on the advance initially, so I had to spend a CP, bringing me back down to 5, using the CP that I got for the turn. Got myself a 5 on the advance, managed to get onto that objective. This squad of Deathwing Terminators just walked up. The Bladeguard Ancient advanced as well. We just got a 1 on the advance, but that was just enough to make sure that he's within 6 inches of this squad of Bladeguard, so in case they get charged, they can still fight back and kill a few other things. This squad of Bladeguard advanced as well. Got just a measly 2 on the advance, which is just enough to get them over the barricade, and they effectively just ended up moving the 6 inches they normally do. Over here, Azrael moved up 6 inches, ended up there. The Redemptor moved is full 8 and ended up there as well. And hopefully, from where I've put him, I think I can draw a bead straight through to the Eradicators across the board without going through dense cover. But with that, let's get into the Psychic phase, of which there is none. So let's get into the Shooting phase. Righty, let's start with these Black Knights. I'm going to put everything from them into your Flamer Aggressors here. I will, of course, be supercharging, and straight off the bat, I'm going to spend 2 CP for Weapons of the Dark Age. Yep, that's the one.
And I will spend 1 CP for Transhuman.
Okay. Hitting on 3s, because I only moved. Rerolling all fails because of Azrael. And let's go, see what happens. So these are the first 3 Black Knights. Okay, rerolling these. No 1s, but okay, 1 miss. And for the other 2 Black Knights, all hit. Wounding on 4s, rerolling 1s from the Talonmaster.
Nope, they're dead.
Nope, that's the aggressor's gone. That would actually make Ariak the closest. So my Talonmaster can now shoot him.
Go ahead.
So let's put everything from the Talonmaster into Ariak. So here's your heavy bolters, hitting on 2s, wounding on 3s, so strength 5.
So 3 ups. So 6 up, feel no pain. Nope, nope, so he takes 2 damage.
So let's try the assault cannons now. 12 shots, hitting on 2s, wounding on 3s.
3 up armor / invulns. I'll roll them one at a time in case he needs to reroll one of these. Safe. Not
Dead.
safe. Let's keep going. Not safe. I'll CP roll one of this. Safe.
Okay.
And since I don't have any reroll, so
Okay.
safe. So he takes 2 wounds.
And he's down
He's
to 1.
on 1.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to start with Azrael, and I'm just going to shoot both his profiles into the aggressors over here, and hopefully blink one off.
Okay.
So let's start with his bow gun. Just the one shot, hitting on 2s.
3s. You're shooting both profile.
Just the one shot from the plasma. That's a hit. One shot from the plasma. That is a wound at AP 4. Like cover. Nope. That's 2 damage. All right. I'll activate my Redemptor. I'll put the Macroplasma Cannon into the Eradicators there. I'll put the Icarus and the Onslaught Gatling Cannons into this squad of aggressors, and I'll put the Stormbolters into the Terminators back here. Supercharging the Plasma, D6 shots from Supercharged Plasma. 1 shot. I will spend ACP to reroll that. 5 shots. I'm happy with that. Hitting on 3s, rerolling once from Azrael. 2 wounds. Yep, so that's 2 dead because you don't get a save. Let's do the Onslaught Gatling Cannon into the aggressors there. Hitting on 3s, rerolling 1s. Yep. Wounding on 4s.
5 saves at 81 because I get light cover. So 4 up armors.
Let's do the Icarus Rocket Pod now. 1 shot. It's a hit. That's a wound. Nope. D3 damage. 1 damage.
So leaves 1 on 1 wound.
Stormbolters from the Redemptor into the Terminators. Rearing once for Azrael. Wounding on 4s. You're fine.
Good.
Cool. That was great. Let's now go on to my final unit, which is my Terminators. That Eradicator must die, so I'm going to be putting 1 Cyclone Missile Launcher into him. Actually, the Cyclones into him, and I'll put the Stormbolters into the Wolf Guard back there. Alrighty, so 4 Cyclone Missiles into the Eradicator, hitting on 3s, and wounding on 3s again.
So 6 up armors.
2! Oh!
Okay.
So he's on 1 wound. Alright, let's do the Stormbolters. Hitting on 2s.
Fail 1, so I take 1 damage.
Right, that's fun.
Taking on a guy with the Storm Shield.
Let's see if I can charge. I don't know if anything comes off it, but I'm going to try and see if I can charge my Black Knights into Aryak and kill them off. Yeah, okay, I need a 10 in charge. If I get it, it's awesome. If not, really won't lose any sleep. 10 in charge. So with that, I think that's the end of my turn. I did get points for killing that 1 squad of aggressors there.
So you got 1 victory point for Otsa Moment.
Yep, would have liked for it to be 2 if I kill that 1 lone Eradicator standing on 1 wound, but oh well. Okay. Besides that, in the center of the battlefield holding that objective, so that's good. They're not an OPSEC unit, so I don't get any points for Stubborn Defiance this turn. But yeah, and nothing for Assassinate. Would have been good if I managed to blink off that 1 wound off of Aryak as well. But that said, let's see what the Space Wolves come back with next turn.
And here we are with the Space Wolves turn 2. Now this is post-movement phase, and I'm hoping a lot of stuff can go right, but you never know. In the command phase, I had Logan Grimnar give his reroll hit rolls point to the Terminators. And I spent 1 CP to make the Wolf Guard, to put the Wolf Guard in the Assault Doctrine. So now I'm at 2 CP. Movement, as you can see, I've brought everything straight up. I've had to split my forces here since I lost a squad of aggressors. So these 4 models, 2 of my characters and the aggressors, are going to try to make a charge at the Black Knights. The Terminators and Nihal have moved up over to the center. They're going to try to make a charge at the Bladeguard. My 1 Eradicator had to move out of sight here. He's going to just shoot at the Bladeguard Veterans back here. But there's nothing really else he can do. And the Wolf Guard are going to just throw themselves into the center of a horde.
Oh boy.
To finish up my movement phase, I brought my Storm Fang gunship off from reserves. He's right here, and hopefully I'm going to just kill the Redemptor straight out. Let's move on to the psychic phase. So Nihal's got his 2 casts.
Yep.
I'm going to cast Instinct Awaken onto the Terminators here. Come on, let's see if I get it. Yes, get it off with the 10.
Okay.
I am within deny range if you want to deny.
I will like to try and see what happens. I'll use the denial that's on the squad of Terminators with their Watcher. Whoop, one got away. Let's see if I can get a roll a perfect 6 now.
Doesn't matter, I got a 10.
Oh, you got a 10. Needed an 11. Alright, can't deny that, but the Watcher tried.
Okay, and his second cast, I'm going to cast Murderous Hurricane
Yep.
onto the 10-man squad of Terminators.
Okay. This one I'll probably try to deny with Azrael.
Get that off with an 8, so you get a 9.
I'll try to deny with Azrael. I'll spend a CP to try and deny that. Oh, that's denied. Oh,
Okay.
the Terminators do not fight last.
That doesn't
Good
matter.
boys, good Deathwing. Good
Alrighty.
little Watcher. Good buddy.
Well, with that disappointing psychic phase, let's move on to the shooting phase. Let's start with the Stormfang gunship.
That's a big one.
I will put all his shots into the Redemptor because they're all anti-tank, and I don't see the point of split firing here.
Okay, that's the one that doesn't have a smoke screen.
Okay, let's start with the Hellfrost Destructor. D3 shots. For 3 shots,
Okay,
hitting on 3s. 2 hits.
okay.
Wounding on 3s. Strength 10.
Oh,
Oh.
Snake Eyes.
Try CPU on one of these. That's a wound.
Okay, AP.
E4.
AP4, so I can't save it.
Flat 6.
Flat 6 damage down to flat 5.
Now the 2 last cannons.
Okay.
Hitting on 3s.
Oh, both miss.
The missiles.
Okay.
Wounding on 3s.
Okay, so AP2, because the Devastator Doctrine, so I'm looking at a 5-up save. On the Redemptor, let's see what it does. Next one takes 1.
Flat
Alrighty.
3, so 2 damage.
Okay, so that's my Redemptor on 6 wounds. I
That's
don't know if
amazing.
you guys noticed, but we are, because this is an Ark game, we're actually using Ark dice that we got last year at the tournament to counter wounds.
Alrighty. That's disappointing. Thought we'd just straight out kill that thing. But let's move on.
I'm glad.
I'll have this Eradicator putting his 2 shots into the Bladeguard back here.
Yep, alrighty, go for it.
Hitting on 3s. Both hit. Wounding on
4s.
4s because transhuman.
Deathwing, and they fail.
They fail. The Wolf Guard here will throw a Krak grenade into the Bladeguard in the back.
Yep.
3s.
I
Hits.
want, okay.
Wounds.
That's not a wound, so you need a 4.
4. So now moving on to the aggressors. They're just within 18 inches of the Terminators. So I'll be rolling their shots. So they got 6 attacks each plus d6. So these are 2 d6 for both of them. Alright, so they're hitting on 3s, you're rolling 1s because of Logan.
Wounding on 4s. Yep. 8 wounds, no AP, so 2-up armors from the Terminators. Oh, wow, okay. Jesus. Okay, so drop 1 Terminator and put another one on 1 wound. Alright, on a 4-up, he gets to shoot back, I suppose. Let's see. On a 4-up, he shoots back. Yep, he does. And he will shoot back at that one aggressor that hurt him. 4 shots from a Stormbolter coming into that lone aggressor. Wounding
5s.
on 5s. No AP, because even I should have moved to the Tactical Doctrine.
I'm good. Moving on, now we have Aryak throwing his hammer into the Black Knights.
Oh, wow, okay.
So that's hitting on 2s, wounding on 2s.
5-up Jink. Nope. Jink doesn't do it.
So Logan Grimnar's got a Stormbolter. I'll be putting that on the Terminators as well.
Yep.
Let's see if I can ping off that last guy with 1 wound. So hitting on 2s, wounding on 4s.
2-up armors.
So the Terminators in the center here, they're going to put their shots into the Bladeguard back here. There's 12 shots from the Stormbolters, hitting on 3s, rerolling everything because of Logan's Grimnar's point.
So that's 5 2-up armors coming up.
So now the Assault Cannon, 6 shots, hitting on 3s, rerolling fails because of Logan.
Not meant to be.
Wounding on 4s.
Because thank you, Transhuman. So here's another 3 4-up armors. Slash involves. That one's cocked. Nope, one comes down to 1 wound.
But let's get to the charges, shall we? This is,
Okay.
this is where we try to convert. So here we are, the Space Wolves after the charge phase. This has been disappointing for me. The Wolf Guard have made a successful 11 in charge into the Bladeguard and the Terminators. I've piled in mainly for the Terminators, but I think maybe one of them will attack the Bladeguard. The Wolf Guard Terminators here have made a successful 8 in charge into the Bladeguard. I was keeping room for Nihal, but he failed to charge horribly.
Okay, and he's stuck in the open now.
Yes, he is. I'm hoping to pile in and then maybe consolidate in, get somewhere there, but let's see. Over here, the aggressors failed their charge, forcing me to burn a CP, my last CP, to get them in, and then Aryak and Logan proceeded to fail their charges.
Both by an inch. You need a 6.
Both by an inch.
Yeah, you need a 6 on Aryak, you rolled a 5, and you need a 7 on Logan, you rolled a 6.
Yes.
That's disappointing.
Yeah, yes it is. So I'm going to start the fight phase now with the Wolf Guard, because I know you have the 2 CP to interrupt.
Yep.
So I'm going to attack with the Wolf Guard first. Let's start with the Sergeant, because his weapons are frosted.
Okay.
So 5 attacks. Now they are an Assault Doctrine, because of the CP I spent in the command phase. So hitting on 2, 6 exploding once. All hit, but no explodes.
Okay.
Wounding on 4s, rerolling fails.
So, rolling 1 at a time, starting with the guy that's on 2 wounds. I need a 4 up there. Oh, he's dead. Alrighty, and now the other 3 I will take onto my Storm Shields. So here I need 3 ups. Make them all.
Now proceeding on to all the other attacks from the Wolf Guard. Hitting on 2s, 6 exploding. So wounding on 4s, rerolling fails.
Alright, so I'm going to put them on my Storm Shields and roll them 3 at a time and see where to go from there. So the first one, 4 up. The next guy, 4 up. 4 up. He is on 2 wounds now. 4 ups. He is dead. That's 2 Storm Shields dead. 4 ups. Make them all. 4 ups.
He's on 1 wound.
On 1 wound. 4 ups. Nope, he's dead. 4 ups. He is dead. Down to 1 wound again. So I've lost 3 Terminators with Storm Shields.
Yeah, and one's left
And one's on 1 wound.
So continuing on with Terminators.
Yep.
Over here, they'll be attacking into the
Bladeguard.
So these are my attacks. The white are the Chain Fist. The red is the Power Fist. And the black is the Thunder Hammer.
Okay.
So that's 5 additional explodes. I'm wounding on 4s because I'm human.
So I am looking at 4 up in mounts for all of these. Let's see what I get. That's a decent roll, actually. So
You
I
blocked
failed
all.
1. Dropped all but 2. Okay.
Okay.
So it kills 1 Bladeguard
Yes.
because they are -1 damage too. I am happy with that. Moving on to the aggressors.
Hitting on 3s, rolling 1s because Logan Grimnar's is within 6 inches. That's cocked.
Wounding on 3.
Wounding on 3s, rolling 1s because Aryak is there.
6 ups. Okay, that's going to be interesting. Oof. Okay,
That's
so
3 dead.
1, 2, and 3 dead. That just leaves the Huntmaster there.
We'll be back in a minute once you remove the dead, consolidate it wherever we need to.
And the Dark Angel will hit back harder than ever. So we just remembered that my Terminators, of which I've lost 4, are within 6 inches of the Ancient over there. So on a 4 up, they basically get to punch back before they die. So the red dice are the ones with the Thunder Hammers that died, and the one white dice is the one with the Chain Fist. Alright, so on a 4 up, they fight back. Okay, half of them fight back, and they're both Thunder Hammers. So for the sake of brevity, we've just decided to add in the Thunder Hammer attacks from the 3 dead Terminators into the rest of them fighting anyway. So the red dice here are the Thunder Hammers, including the ones of the Terminators that died, and the black ones are the Chain Fists. So because they have +1 to hit from the Ancient and have Grim Resolve, they're hitting on 2s with all these weapons. So on 2s. Wounding on 2s.
Let's do the Chain Fist first. 6 at AP4. I'll take it on my 4 of them which have Storm Shields on. So 4 up involves.
D3 damage each. Okay, D3 on the first guy, kills him. D3 on the second guy, kills him. D3 on the third guy, kills him.
And now for the Thunder Hammers that are AP2 on the rest of them. So that's 5 up armors. Alright, so that means I lost 8 Wolf Guard here with 1 alive. We'll remove them once we've decided where else the attack's going to go.
Okay. Winding the clock back a little here, guys, we actually just found out that one of the Bladeguard actually had died from the Thunderhammer and the Power Fist from the Terminators, despite having -1 damage. The fact is, he is also within 6 inches of the Ancient, and on 4-up, he gets to fight back. Now, I rolled off camera just to see if it's worth recording this, and he actually did roll a 6, which means he gets to fight back. Now, naturally, I'll be putting all his attacks into the Wolf Guard as well, and this was before the Terminators had a chance to strike back. So the 4 attacks coming in from that Bladeguard, hitting on 2s because of Grim Resolve. He is wounding on 3s. Nope, drop them both, and that would kill off your final guy with the Frost Claws. Now for the other 3 guys, who are basically back into protracted combat, and they will put all their attacks into the Terminators. So that's 13 attacks off of them into the Terminators, hitting on 2s because of Grim Resolve, wounding on 3s.
I've got 2 Storm Shields. I'm making 2 dice rolls at a time. So 4-ups, make them.
So you've got, yep, now he's dead.
That's another one dead. And these are on 5-ups.
Okay.
Make 1, 2.
So 3 Terminators die.
Yep.
Now over here, let's do the Ravenwing Talonmaster into the aggressors. So hopefully he can do something there. So let's go with hitting on 2s with Corvus Hammers. Rerolling for Azrael. All hit. Wounding on 4s, rerolling once from the Talonmaster. Thank you, Talonmaster.
So 2 at AP1, so 4-up armors.
Nope,
that's 1 dead and 1 on 1 wound.
Okay.
And we'll be back now after we've removed the dead and the Dark Angels have had a chance to move.
Cool. Okay, so we're back at the end of the movement phase for the Dark Angels, turn 2. Before that, Jukes, you want to talk through what happened through the morale phase on your Terminators that we discovered you had to take because you lost 3 of them in the last fight phase?
So, we were tallying up the score for Oaths, and I realized my Terminators, I had lost 3 with the leadership of 8. I would have run on a 6. And guess what I rolled?
A 6.
And then I had to take attrition on the other one, which was either 1 or 2.
And
guess what I took?
That's what you rolled. So the Terminators effectively ran off and basically just freed my Bladeguard up to do what they do best.
And coming on to your movement phase now. So want to explain, talk your way through it? Talk us through it?
Yeah, okay. So command phase before that actually. Nothing much to, very little in the command phase. Azrael gave his full rerolls to the Dreadnought. That is effectively now bracketed into its second bracket. The Ancient here put his -1 damage onto the squad of Terminators, and he also gave them +1 to hit from his buff. That's basically all of my command phase stuff. Going into the movement phase, my Talonmaster basically moved up here a little bit, getting a bead on both Logan and Ariak. My Black Knight stayed in combat because I lose points for Oath if I fall back, which is annoying. Azrael and the Dreadnought stood still. The Terminators basically moved their 5 inches here. I'm hoping that I can make an 8-inch charge into Niall, because if I can, that gets me onto the objective here for my Stubborn Defiance. This squad of Bladeguard here moved up there. Not sure where they're going to go, but most likely they're going to try and at least shoot, if not kill in combat, that last Eradicator. This squad of Bladeguard here, they stood still, but they're going to start the action of planting the flag, which is the mission-specific action. So if they complete that in the next command phase, that gives me 5 points. Most likely will.
And that's assuming I have everything left at the end of this game, at the end of this round.
Okay, so with that, let's get into the psychic phase, of which there is none. So moving on to shooting. Let's start with Azrael, and let's throw some cheeky pot shots into the Stormfang from there. So he is 1 shot into the Stormfang, hitting on 2s with Grim Resolve, which negates your -1 to hit. So hitting on 2s from a Plasma, that's a hit. Toughness, strength 8, toughness 7, so 3s to wound, and that's a wound at AP 4.
So I get nothing.
You don't get a save, so that is 2 damage. Now let's do the Terminators next. I want to see if I can plink off Aryak with their Stormbolters, and let's put the Cyclone Missile Launchers into the Stormfang again. So let's start with the Cyclones. And that's still a wound though, at AP 3, because I'm still in the Devastator Doctrine, because I keep forgetting to change.
Nope, only damage.
D6 damage. 6 damage.
Okay.
Wow. Let's do the Stormbolters into Aryak.
Okay, hitting on 2s.
Hitting on 2s. And wounding on 4s.
No AP, so 2 up armors.
Yep, 2 up armors on Aryak.
He's dead.
He is now dead. Cool, that's literally all I wanted. Now moving on to the Talonmaster, I'm going to put all his guns into Logan Grimnar. Alrighty, so the white dice are the heavy bolters and the red dice are the assault cannons. All going into Logan, hitting on 2s. And wounding on 3s regardless. Oh, right, so you got 2 damage, 1 damage, but AP2 on both.
3 for the heavy bolters and 4 for the assault cannons.
Yep, both are AP2.
AP2, so 4 ups either way. Okay, so that's 2 damage, 3, 4 damage.
So the Redemptors now want to put everything into the Stormfang up there. So D6 shots from the Plasma, supercharged, for 1. I will spend a CP to reroll that into a 6. Yay!
CP well spent.
6 shots hitting on 4s between Grim Resolve and him being bracketed. Top 1. Wounding on 3s.
I don't get a save. That's 9 damage. That ship's dead. That CP blows up.
Yep. Nope, he does not. Quite the opposite. He implodes. Alright, let's see if my Bladeguard can think of that last Eradicator with their bow pistols. So 4 pistol shots into the Eradicator, hitting on 3s, wounding on 5s, 2 wounds.
He's dead.
Okay, so moving on to the Black Knights over here, the one Huntmaster. I'm going to see if I can plink off this aggressor with a pistol. If that works, it works. Otherwise, it'll be fun. Either way. 1 shot, hitting on 2s with Grim Resolve. That's a hit.
5s.
Not a wound. Okay, we tried. Good boy. Alright, now let's move on to some charges. The one important one I want to make is this 8-inch charge from my Terminators into Niall. The reason I want to do that is so I can get them onto that objective, giving me more primary, and more importantly, getting me my Stubborn Defiance. So let's see if I can make that 8-inch charge.
Alright.
That's a 7. I will have to spend a CP and reroll that. Rerolling. No, that's still a 7. No, they stay there. Okay. And my Bladeguard can't do anything because they're doing the action. Let's do the Talonmaster into Logan. That's a 9. Okay, so the Talonmaster mate is 9 in charge. He does have the Imperium sword and he does have the Heavenfall blade, so makes him a bit of a combat beatstick. So let's see how he does into Logan. So, 6 attacks, hitting on 2s. All wound. There you go. So
AP
5
4,
saves.
so 4 up involves from the Belt of Rust. And he's dead.
Oh, 2 damage exactly. 4 damage. That just leaves protracted combat
The aggressor.
with the aggressor.
So the aggressor will fight back with 4 attacks. Hitting on 3 for the protracted combat.
Okay.
6s do not explode.
Yeah.
No.
Oh,
wow.
okay.
The new model syndrome is really hurting me today, guys.
Okay, let's try the Black Knight back into him. So Huntmaster only has 3 attacks because he doesn't have Shock Assault yet anymore. But he does hit on 2s. Wounding on 4s, but rerolling 1s.
So 4 ups. He's dead.
Fails 1. Oh, just by that little bit. Okay.
Alrighty. So I think that is the end of the Dark Angel's turn because everything's in combat or everything's dead. And all I have left is my Stormcaller.
All I've left is Nihal.
Alright. I think I'm going to concede with that. And after that pan, I'm going to go concede my life as well. And with that, we're going to be back with the final scores and the endgame debrief.
Yeah, half a lot. Okay, so that was a brutal game.
Oh yeah, I'm very familiar with it.
Firstborn Spaces, I don't think I have it
As good as
in this
Successors,
meta.
yeah.
Yeah, not in this meta
The characters
anymore.
are good. They don't convert well. Not in this game, not in the meta as it is right now.
But anyway, this was a bit of a meme list. I mean, everything was just high toughness, high
Slow moving.
Yeah, basically high toughness, slow moving, good saves though. But
Yeah.
yeah, so clearly this is not the list you're going to be
No,
taking to
God,
Ark.
no, God no. But yeah. That being said, we did tally up the scores. If you want to take a guess, you can pause the video for a second. But yeah, Dark Angels were winners with 85 points, including painting. Space Wolves had a very respectable 14.
Anyway, what changes do you think you would make in the list you take to Ark?
Well, first of all, I'd go back to my Redemptors. I do like the gunboats, just something of the range. I mean, you shoot, high toughness. Definitely not Firstborns anymore. Because don't get me wrong, I do love Aryak, but I've never been able to actually get him to survive or kill anything comfortably. Yeah, so basically my entire list is going to change from the ground up.
Okay, so you're rewriting the whole thing.
Yeah. What about
Okay.
you? What do you think? You think this is a good army for Ark?
Yes and no. It's got a bit of bite to it. I do like the utility that the Ancient actually brings. I know I've seen a lot of people take the Ancient to the Pennant. I'm actually beginning to see his benefits now. Besides that, I would actually like to have a bit more speed to it. Would be good if I could squeeze in some multi-motors, maybe
Yeah.
take some
Attack bikes.
Yeah. I did. I mean, the Redemptor did really well, but that was good rolling, and both times I had to spend CP to reroll the shots on his plasma.
Yes.
So he definitely did his work, but there are times where he would biff. So I think I would maybe swap out one of the Bladeguard squads for some
Attack
bikes. Yeah, and maybe
enough.
try to start adding some more Ravenwing perhaps. Don't know. Let's see.
Anyway, we do hope you enjoyed this video, enjoyed me getting my face punched in. Do like and subscribe if you like what we do, and we will keep the content coming. Keep up with our social media, because next week we'll be posting a lot of pictures, there will be a lot to see.
Yep.
And hopefully maybe one of us does win.
Yeah, something at
Yes.
Ark. But regardless, yeah, if you're overseas and don't know what Ark is about, have a look. They've got plenty of guys writing articles. Some of them actually take you through an entire adventure because they started an entire army from the ground up and painted up just for Ark. And it's beautiful works of art that come up in there. So I'll add a link in the description just to their website, and you can chase them up on socials too.
And with that, we are Six-Sided Scribes, and remember, let the stories roll.
Thank you.